Hello, in this video we're going to be looking at using ratio notation. So our intention for this video is that we're going to be able to use ratio notation by the end of it. Now a ratio is just a way of comparing the number of things that we've got. So let's say I've got some apples and I've got some oranges. Then if I've got, let's say, 7 apples and I've got 5 oranges, then we would say that the ratio of apples to oranges is 7 to 5, like that. And it's important, the way around I said that, the ratio of apples to oranges. The word apples came first, so that number needs to come first. The word oranges was second, so that number needs to come second. So if I said, instead of the ratio of apples to oranges, let's say I said the ratio of oranges to apples, the ratio of oranges to apples would be the other way around. It would be 5 to 7. And the way that we write these ratios is with this wee colon in the middle. I've made a bit of a mess of that one. Let's see if we can tidy that up. So just a dot on top of another dot is what it should look like. And the way that we say it is 5 to 7. So like this, we pronounce this like the word 2, 5 to 7. Okay, so I've got here a picture of some balloons and some burgers, and the question says, what is the ratio of balloons to burgers? Now, the word balloons comes first, so the number of balloons has to come first. The word burgers comes second, so the number of burgers is going to come second. So how many balloons have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 balloons, so the first number I'm going to write is the number 4. Then I'm going to write my wee colon in the middle, the 2 dots on top of each other. Now the number of burgers is the second number, so that's 1, 2, 3. So the ratio of balloons to burgers is 4 to 3. Let's look at another example. So this one, the question says, what is the ratio of unicorns to gorillas? And this time the unicorns come first, so that's the thing I need to count first. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unicorns, I reckon. So 5 is going to be my first number. I'm going to do those wee little dots, the colon, to separate out my numbers. Gorillas is the second thing. How many gorillas we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 gorillas. So the ratio of unicorns to gorillas is 5 to 6. What we're going to look at next then is simplifying ratios. And if I want to simplify a ratio, it works in a very similar way to how we simplify fractions. So the intention for this bit is that we're going to be able to simplify ratios. So for example, if I had the ratio 8 to 6, I can simplify that ratio. And the reason I can simplify that ratio is because these guys both have a common factor. 8 and 6 are both in the 2 times table. So that means I can take that 8 and I can divide it by 2, and I can take that 6 and I can divide it by 2. And if I do that, what do I get? Well, 8 divided by 2, that's going to be 4. 6 divided by 2, that's going to be 3. So the ratio is 4 to 3. And that's simplified. I've simplified the ratio because it's equivalent. It's the same sort of proportion of numbers. For every 8 of these, I've got 6 of these. That's the same as saying for every 4 of these, I've got 3 of them. And I can't go any further. That's how I know it's in its simplest form, because there isn't any number that I can divide both 4 and 3 by to make a simpler version of this. Okay, so let's have a look at doing some of these questions where we have to do a bit of simplifying as well. So for example, question here says, what is the ratio of dolphins to T-Rex? Now the word dolphin is coming first here, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dolphins. 6 is going to come first. The number of T-Rex is going to come second. I've got 1, 2, 3 of those. I've got 3 T-Rexes, but look at this. I reckon I can simplify this ratio. 6 and 3, what times table are they both in? Well, they're both in the 3 times table, aren't they? So I can divide by 3 on this side. Whoops. Divide by 3, and I can divide by 3 on this side. Divide by 3. And we get our new simplified ratio, 6 divided by 3, that is 2. 3 divided by 3, that is 1. So the ratio of dolphins to T-Rex, after we simplify it, is 2 to 1. And what that sort of means is, for every 2 dolphins, there is 1 T-Rex. And we can check that that's definitely the case by sort of grouping them off here. So 2 dolphins, 1 T-Rex. 2 dolphins, 1 T-Rex. Whoops. 2 dolphins, 1 T-Rex. So the ratio is 2 to 1 because for every 2 dolphins, I've got 1 T-Rex. One more like this then. This one is asking me, what is the ratio of penguins to shrimps? So penguins is the word that's coming first again here, so I'm going to have to count the penguins first. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 penguins. So that's going to come first, 9 penguins. Shrimps was the second word, so how many shrimps have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 shrimps. And again, this looks to me like I can simplify this. There is a common factor here. What can I divide 9 and 6 by? I can divide them both by 3. So on this side, I'm going to divide by 3. On this side, I'm going to divide by 3. And if I do that, we've got our new simplified ratio. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So my simplified ratio is 3 to 2. And again, that means that for every 3 penguins, I've got 2 shrimps. And we can check that that's definitely the case by grouping them off again. For every 3 penguins, 2 shrimps. So here's 3 penguins, 2 shrimps. 3 penguins, 2 shrimps, and my last group over here, 3 penguins, 2 shrimps. It works. For every 3 penguins, I've got 2 shrimps, and we can group them off like that. Okay, let's look at some trickier ones where we don't necessarily have a picture. So I'm asked here to simplify the ratio 15 to 90. Now I'm going to have to do exactly the same thing as I did before. I'm going to have to think about what times table these guys are both in. What can I divide these numbers both by? And I reckon straight away I can spot that these are both in the 5 times table, right? They're both in the 5 times table because this one ends in a 5, that one ends in a 0. That's what the 5 times table looks like, isn't it? Okay, so how many 5s over here I'm going to have to work out, and how many 5s over here will be the next thing I work out. So let's start on the left. 15 divided by 5, that's going to be 3, isn't it? 5, 10, 15. And over here, how many 5s make 90? That's a little bit tricky. We could count them in 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, keep going until we get to 90, and we would find out that the answer is 18 if I divide by 5. Now, we're not quite finished yet, because 3 and 18 still have, I reckon, a common factor. There's still a number that I can divide those both by. So I'm going to have to do another step of simplifying here to get down to my final answer. So what do 3 and 18 have in common still? Well, they're both in the 3 times table this time. So I'm going to divide them both by 3. Divide by 3 on this side. There we go. And if I divide 3 by 3, I'm going to get 1. And if I divide 18 by 3, I'm going to get 6. So there we go. That is my answer there, 1 to 6. If we're asked to simplify the ratio 15 to 90, the answer we should get is 1 to 6. Let's try one more of these. Now, even bigger numbers this time. I've got 350 to 70. That is my ratio we're going to try and simplify. And again, I've got to look for a times table that these guys are both in. Now, because these numbers both end in a 0, I can be pretty sure that they are in the 10 times table. So let's divide by 10 on this side. And let's divide by 10 on this side. Ooh, there we go. So how many 10s are making 350? I hope we agree it is 35. And how many 10s are making 70? I hope we agree that it's 7 of them. So I've done 350 divided by 10 is 35, 70 divided by 10 is 7. And again, I think there's still a common factor here. There's still a number that I can divide both of these by. There's a times table that they are both in. What times table are they both in? They're both in the 7 times table, aren't they? So let's take this number and divide it by 7. Let's take this number and divide it by 7. Divide by 7, there we go. And that will give me my answer. So 35 divided by 7 is 5. And 7 divided by 7 is 1. There we go. So there's my answer. When I simplify that ratio, we get 5 to 1. Good stuff.